often get people that reach out to me because they want to start a new business, but they always forget the most important thing that they need to be aware of. Let's talk about that now.
Subscribe now.
So there's a number of steps to starting a business, and I want to go over the big picture steps that every person needs to know before starting a business. But there's one really critical step that people need to know, and I'm going to talk about that toward the end of the video. First, I want to talk about the most important things that you need to be aware of, really step by step, in as short of a time frame as possible. So the first thing is you need to have a very clear product or service. In other words, what is it that you're selling? Sometimes people will try to do too much too quick, and I would recommend really thinking about what's your minimum viable product. In other words, what is the minimum that you need to do to be able to have a successful business? So are you selling something physical? If so, you really need to think about having a great level of quality. You need to make sure that if it's not something you're making, that you have distributors or providers that can really make sure that you always have enough inventory of that product, and make sure that it's something that really has a demand. Look at competition, see how much of it is. If there's too much competition, the market might be saturated and there might be too much competition. If there's not enough competition, on the other hand, it may mean that there's not enough demand for it. Often people will think, well, I'm really lucky I found the one product that nobody out there has, but chances are if it's something that people really want, you're gonna at least find some competition. So I'd recommend finding a product or service where there's not too much demand and not too little either. The second thing you need to do if you want to start a business is you need to find the right market or the right group of people that are interested in your product or service. So you need to make sure that there's a match. If you have a great product or service, but you're not trying to sell it to the right people, then chances are you're going to really struggle. I'll tell you one of the common mistakes that people tell me when I say, well, who are you trying to sell your product or service to? They'll tell me the whole world. And that's always the wrong answer. Unless you're Coca-Cola, and even if you are Coca-Cola, the whole world doesn't care about your product or service. Find the people that are really passionate and really care about what you do. Your product or service should solve problems, or it should entertain people, or it should make them feel better. There needs to be something that is just deeply important to that group of people to want to be able to buy consistently your product or service. So find the right product or service, and then find the right market or group of people that want to buy from you. The next thing you need to do is find the right place to sell it. Is this going to be an online business where you only sell online? Is it going to be a retail store? Maybe you're going to be starting off selling to your neighbors. One of my good friends that I got to meet and interviewed earlier at Dam Bam Kmart had the idea that they were going to start selling kimchi just to their neighbors, knocking on doors, talking to their neighbors, and they were able to expand from their neighbors to their own retail store by having a successful local neighborhood business where they then saved up and then reinvested into a physical space. So don't always think that you need to have it all to begin with. Sometimes you might not have any money for a physical store or even a website. Think of who you could still sell your product or service to. And then finally, you need to build whatever you decide to start off with. Do you need a physical store? Then you got to figure out the layout, construction, anything else involved with that. Or do you need a website? If you don't know how to build websites yourself, then you should find a company like Purple Cow, yeah, shameless plug, to be able to build it for you in order for you to be able to get things started professionally. So what is that one thing that I said that business owners or people considering starting a business almost always don't know that is just so deeply important? What it is this: doing all those steps that I just talked about, finding the right product or service, the right product market fit, building out a website or building out a physical store. All of those things don't mean nothing unless you do this one thing that I want to talk about. So the one thing is this: you need to make sure that you realize that all of that work just get you to the starting line of having a business. So many people will open up a store, or they'll create a website, or they'll think that they have the coolest product or the best service, and that all may be true, but you have to realize that that just allows you to open up your doors and say, I'm in business. What's really necessary after that is that you market and sell whatever product or services that you have, and that you realize that you're gonna have to do that until the day your business dies. Marketing and sales is really the lifeblood of a business. So it's a bit like this. Imagine that you were so excited to get a new car. And so you went out there, you saved up all of your money, you did all of your research to make sure you found exactly the right car for you, but then you paid for it, but there was no gas in the car. What good is that car to you? You're gonna always have to fill that car up with gas to keep that thing moving until the day you get rid of that car. And that's what sales and marketing is like with businesses. If you don't have sales and marketing to keep that business going, to keep that business fueled up, the business will quickly die. And I believe this is the #1 reason why so many businesses fail. Statistically, about 80% of them in the first year is because business owners put all of their money into just getting to the starting line, to getting to just open up their business doors, and they don't realize how much work is ahead promoting and selling what it is that your business offers. Hope this has been helpful for you. And if you have any need to help out with starting a new business, please reach out to me. As always, guys, if you've been watching this for a while and haven't subscribed, I'd greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and take care.
Oh, I think you're so